Yes, okay. So that is going to that is why our AD is shifting up to this point. Is okay. So that is our AD is so the price level that we're supposed to have should be somewhere here. Great, right? But AD is now shifting, right? Because we are seeing that in order for the economy to fall up to this point, that means the central bank will have to use tighten monetary policy. Once the central bank introduce tighten monetary policy, they're able to reduce investment because they are going to increase the autonomous R. And once autonomous R is increased, it means our real interest rate will also go up. Now, if our real interest rate goes up, that is going to mean that our investment will fall. Now, if our investment falls, our Y will shift. And we have already explained that anytime there's a shift in the autonomous R, it is going to shift our AD. That is what we agreed on, right? Great. Now we are here. Now, economic agent to also know that, okay, now in order for this output here to fall to Y3, then that means prices will have to increase. So they will also form a higher expectation of what? Prices. And because they are also going to form higher expectation of price, we said short-run aggregate supply curve is equals to what? Expected inflation plus lambda or into bracket y minus y potential plus the price shock is okay. So once there is a situation like that plus the price shock, that means they also expect that inflation goes up. And once they have high expectation for this, it will cause the AS to shift. So the AS will shift until it meets it crosses the new AD curve at this point. That is a new AD curve at this point. So until it crosses up to this point. Now once it means inflation is stabilized. I hope it's okay. Okay. So let me brush through again. Now this is what we are saying. There is the negative permanent supply shock. Let me walk through it again. Now, initially, we were producing at this level. Initial level is this. Our initial level is this. And this is our initial aggregate demand curve. This is our initial aggregate supply curve. We are producing at this level. And there is a negative permanent supply shock, which causes our long run aggregate supply curve to shift backwards to this level, right? Now, at this level, we are now producing at this point inflation level of these two. That means we have moved all the way from this point up to this point, right? And our output has also come to this point, right? Our output has also fallen up to this point, right? Now, what the central government seeks to do is what? To stabilize inflation. So when the central bank wants to stabilize inflation, what it means is that the central bank does not want inflation to change. So the central bank wants the inflation to be at this same level. That is, I'm coming, let me clean this part. So there's the initial level. So the central bank wants inflation. So they are targeting what? Inflation, stabilize inflation. So you can see that the inflation has what? Rather increased. But the central bank does not want inflation to increase. They are trying to stabilize inflation. So how can this be achieved? The central bank can only influence this using the monetary policy too. It's okay. So if the central bank does not want inflation to increase, then what they can do is what? To use tighten monetary policy. Because when you introduce tighten monetary policy, what it means is that when you introduce tighten monetary policy, what it means is that we have agreed that this one will go up, right? And that will cause your real interest rate to also go up, and investment will fall. Now, once investment falls, your Y will fall. So that is why your AD is now shifting, right? That is why your AD is now shifting towards downwards, because it is only when it shifts downward that your Y can fall. So that is why it has fallen up to this point, right? Now, it has fallen up to this point at what? But at a higher level of inflation. It's okay. And the central bank does not want inflation to increase. So what can the central bank want? So now that this has shifted, the economic agents, they'll also see that, okay, in order for this one to fall, again, then what it means is that what prices are going to increase in the future. So economic agents will form what higher expectation for prices. Now, once they form higher expectation for prices, it means our aggregate supply curve shifts. So aggregate supply curve will then shift. It will shift until it gets to the point whereby the new short-term aggregate supply curve meets with what the long run and then AD, which is this point. At that point, to the same thing as inflation, the same, right? That means output will fall, but inflation now becomes the same thing. So the inflation will come back to this point, right? Okay. So this is when the central bank is what? Trying to stabilize inflation. When the central bank decides to stabilize inflation. And you can as well do the same thing for when the central bank decides to what? Stabilize output. Is okay? So I will continue with the next ones in my next lecture or in my next discussion. Thank you.